Okay, we'll go ahead and start because we do have a quorum. The roll call, Vice President Guadiana, Secretary Terrazas,
Here.
and myself. Ms. Murillo is going to be absent today. She said she had tutoring. That moves us to board norms.
Actively listen to all perspectives.
Close the loop, responding to concerns and questions as a unified board.
Model the professionalism we expect from all members of the district and community. Customer service orientation.
Assume positive intent.
Be positive and responsive. It's like tennis.
All right, that moves us to Pledge of Allegiance. If everyone could please stand. Okay, that moves us to item E, Kiwanis Student of the Month.
Okay.
Hi, Ms. Pfeiffer. So nice to see you.
We have, do we have Angelica available? We have, actually then, I guess, and Cameron Ortiz is not here, right?
No, she's at a game. I
She's at a
understand.
game,
Yeah.
so I realized that, but I thought, just in case. So, what we can do is we can recognize them here at the board meeting. We won't take a picture of them. And then, I can get them over to, the school, and then we can take a picture there.
Very good.
Okay,
of 'em,
sounds great.
Okay. As some of y'all may know, I did have a stroke in October, and so this is my first reading.
You got this, Ms. Pfeiffer.
Okay. Okay. Our November Student of the Month is Angelita Avelas. She shows the initiative to take responsibility for her learning. I have seen where she reflects on her mistakes and will take the information and ask for clarification and help. She is conscientious in class about her studies, and her behavior is that of an exceptional student. She is always respectful and polite. Cameron, I would like to nominate Cameron Ortiz as the December Student of the Month. She is always in class, asks questions, engages in academic discussion, is always trying her best, and is willing to help others. Cameron turns in all her work and asks for makeup when needed. She is a great role model for others and is always willing to help. Cameron is also an athlete and takes care of her academics first. Yes, she's an athlete. Is Melanie here? Is Gavin here? Okay. Melanie has been nominated as the November Student of the Month. Melanie is presently a senior at Cobre High School. She has a great cumulative grade point average of 3.8. Melanie has learned to challenge herself throughout her years in high school. She works hard, but as time passed, she has become more confident in her abilities. She has definitely improved to become a better student and better communicator. She is involved and active, and you can often see her up and down the courts, fields, or track taking pictures. She is very personable and has come out of her shell to be more confident and strong. She has always enjoyed her activities and excels in her extracurricular activities. She participates in volleyball and powerlifting and is always encouraging others to do their best. She always gives her 100% effort. Melanie definitely exemplifies a student that could be considered as highly improved. Just seeing her grow from 9th grade COVID year to present day photographer and leader is amazing. Melanie is well deserving and definitely look forward to seeing her future success. Gavin Chewy has been nominated as the December Student of the Month. Gavin is presently a senior at Cobre High School. He has an exemplary cumulative grade point average above 4.0. Gavin is enrolled in several honors courses at Cobre High and has enrolled in several dual credit courses throughout his high school career. In fact, completing his degree in liberal arts in May of 2024. Even though he seems somewhat reserved in his actions, he is a true go-getter and a very dependable person. He has always been respectful towards others and has a kind and calm demeanor. It has been great to see him grow since his freshman year. I will vividly remember his excitement when he visited my office to get his registration and book to take his first college class. That excitement is still very alive in him and will continue to serve him well in the future. These are all very well-deserving students.
Thank you, Ms.
Thank you.
Pfeiffer. Thank you.
Thank you.
Congratulations to those students. That brings us to item number 2, Student Representatives Report. I don't see Medea. Okay, that moves us to item 3, action items. Item A, approval of agenda items. Mr. Corey, do you have any suggestions or recommendations?
Yes, I would like, we've got under Superintendent's Report, A is Ron Clark Academy update, and I would like to move that up to,
After approval
yeah,
of agenda?
that would be
Okay.
great, right after approval of agenda items, because we have a couple people that would like to speak.
Well, and their teachers are probably tired and they want to go home, because that's kind of how I feel right now. Okay, with the adjustment there, can I get a motion to approve the agenda?
So move.
Do I have a second?
A second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, same sign. And, Ms. Church, Lisa Dean is trying to get on. She said the link is not working.
Okay, I'll send her a new one here in just 1 second.
Okay, thank you. Okay, that moves us to 9A, Ron Clark Academy update.
So we had the amazing opportunity to go participate in this professional development, and any of us that had the privilege to go, excuse me, the words you hear are, life-changing. And so it's an amazing experience. And so on our flight home in the airport, I gave them homework assignments, and one of the homework assignment, because I knew we'd be presenting this evening. But at the same time, I invited them to come, because it's one thing for me to read the thing, but when you get it from the participants themselves, I think it just adds a little more. So I'm gonna actually let them go first, so I don't steal their thunder here. So, and we can kind of go in order around the room here. So if you would like to go first and just come and tell us, you know, give us a couple minutes of your experience, and kind of my assignment was things you can implement immediately and
So, first of all, I would just like to say thank you for the amazing opportunity, because it truly was, like Mr. Corey said, life-changing. It completely changed our mindset from the moment we walked into the school to the moment we left. The whole 2 days was very engaging. I did not want to leave. We actually got to go into the classrooms and see the teachers giving lessons with the kids. We were so engaged in the lessons that we wanted to learn more. We were learning from the teachers because it was just so amazing. So not only did we get to see the teachers in action with the children, we then got to go to like these little workshops that they helped us give. They gave us strategies, ideas on how to implement these things. There was many things that we could implement immediately, and then there's things that are going to take a little bit more time. But I know we came to work this morning ready to go, implementing those things at 8 o'clock. And to see our kids have that excitement, a lot of the things they taught us were, you know, making those connections with those kids, building those strong relationships, having music and movement to help those connections, but also the rigor that we saw and the expectations for these kids was so impressive. To sit and watch them, they were, I call them little geniuses. And they actually face some of the same challenges that we face. A third of their students are students from poverty. There's a third of their students who had discipline problems when they came to them. So they face many of those challenges that we do, and to see what they have done with those students was just very motivating, and it got us excited to keep going. Thank you again.
Thank you. I just want to know who stood on tables today. Did anyone stand on a table?
I would also like to thank you for that opportunity. One of the things I thought was, Ron Clark said, everyone can get better, but just 1%. So find some things that you can work at 1%. When you achieve that 1%, then you go, because if you make it bigger, then
you're not going to achieve it. So that was and my 1% was not so much focusing so much as my kids is on me. I want to build my confidence and learn to be more for my kids, because I feel if I can be more for my kids, then they're going to be more. The other thing that I took away from this was teaching the kids how to be more respectful, how to make eye contact, how to speak and do things like that. And we did that this morning with our kids, and by the end of the day, they were calling each other out. You need to stand, eye contact, you're not making the eye contact, so it's already working as far as that, and it makes them more confident and engaged because they're having to focus and be aware of what they're doing. So that's what I liked about it.
Thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
sharing. And the eye contact is a big thing.
Yeah.
And I'm very favorable to your house because that's my house. So.
Yeah.
Good evening. I was not expecting to say anything. I thought I was just going to be here for moral support.
hot seat.
So my name is Ana Torres, and this is my first year with Cobre. I grew up in Bayard, just down the street, graduated from Cobre, went to Western. This is my 33rd year teaching, and I tell you what, this made me want to come back to teaching. And then that sounds kind of weird being 33 years, but it was like, you get into such a rut sometimes, and it's like, and there was just so many wonderful things, you know, what they were speaking about and what we saw, and it was just amazing. There was so many philosophies that I had always wanted to do, but it was like, no music, no, you've got to sit down, no, you need to. This was, now, I'm not going to be climbing on tables because I'm too old for that. But just the other things, one of the things that we also learned that I did with my class, along with some of the other things that everyone else had done, was a handshake, because they have, it was called a shake, the Amazing Shake competition. And we were talking about handshakes and just how important it was. And then I told them something personal about my handshake once, and it actually got me a job based on a handshake. I mean, everything else, but that was what he brought out. And so now everybody's like, okay, let's handshake. And so everybody's starting to handshake in my class, and, you know, looking at everybody in the eye, and then you make contact. And sometimes we, you know, we just, as teachers, we overlook that. You know, we just kind of like go shoop and shoop, but we're not really connecting. And this made you really focus on certain things. Now, the 1%, today I did some of my 1%, the handshaking that we had talked about doing, that I had put in my paper for my 1%, didn't work very well. It's kind of hard to shake hands with the kids walking with their trays. I didn't want them to spill. But, you know, we'll figure out different ways. We did the handshake in class. I got some of my kids who don't say anything actually stood up, and, you know, I said, okay, we're going to practice standing up and looking around. And they actually were. I had some of my kids that I've never seen engaged, and they're dancing in the cafeteria with Ms. Ogas. It's just amazing, and it's just so exciting as a veteran teacher to be excited about teaching again, the way I'm excited about this new program. And I even bought me a shirt, a jacket. We all had to pick houses, and so mine was green for courage, because being as old as dirt and starting new again, you know, even though it's back home, I have no family left, but I came back, you know, and it took a lot of courage just to come and do and be part. And I would like to thank all of you for the opportunity to go, and it was just so amazing. Thank you.
Thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for sharing.
Thank you.
Don't be bashful back there.
Anyone else? It's okay, Ms. Kaufman. Team Amistad is the best, so you're in a room of Team Amistad.
The
Yeah.
battles have already begun.
So it was very hard to implement things today, because we started with IMESA testing. Then I had students that had to do some iReady testing. But I did go down to the cafeteria and like to kind of piggyback on what Ms. Acorta was talking about, because she's at my school. So I'm in the cafeteria, I walk in the cafeteria, and I see they're doing this. Switch. I can't even do it. You guys were doing that this morning with the switching of pointing, thumbs up. See, I can't even do it. And then I went into her class this morning because I wanted to see how she was going to teach some of the things we learned. And I saw the kids standing up, doing eye contact, talking to each other, talking loud, complimenting each other. And I'm like, yes, okay, because I want to know what we're doing school-wide so we can support it school-wide. Some things that I did in my own class is, so I have used some music with my first grader on teaching letters, sounds, counting. We do YouTube videos, and we sing along to them when we do, you know, A, see it, say it, sign it, A says all this stuff. But I hadn't done it with the older kids, and I know that Miss Martin over there in Hurley uses songs, counting by 2s and 5s and 10s to teach math facts. So I did do that with some of my 5th graders today, and we sang some songs along with counting to learn math facts. And I said, if you don't like this song, maybe you guys want to make your own song or chant to learn math facts. I just want you guys to think about how you can learn your math facts. So it's just kind of challenging them to think about things in a new way. I feel like every teacher in America should go to that training, because that would transform the way we teach kids. Because the way we teach kids, sit, write, is not how people learn. And you can see that none of us want to sit and listen and take notes or listen to a teacher. None of us want to learn that way. We need to think about how people learn and teach that way. And it's so easy to say, we need more student engagement, we need less the teacher talk, we need the kids talking to each other. But us as teachers, we're just like kids. We're like, okay, you can tell us that, show us what that looks like. And this school showed us what student engagement really should look like. Oh, thank you.
Thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
Oh, I can go all day.
So our next speaker might have got just a little bit starstruck while she was there.
I don't even know where to begin.
Are you a Survivor fan or what?
I am,
Okay.
big time.
All right.
Okay. I don't even know where to start. I am so grateful to you for giving us this opportunity. I'm even going to want to cry, because in all of the years that I have been teaching, I've always felt like I've had a connection with students. I've always felt like I was the one that was always just, I'm so hyper and ADHD myself that I was just at that level with them. Those of you that know me know I was a dance coach for a long time and did all that. And I had already hung up my dancing shoes, and I had said, I'm too old, I'm done. This just I don't even know, re-energized me. I don't even know how to, the word to use, because, you know, I every morning I'm out there, I open the door for every single one of my kids, and I greet them as they're coming into the school. Every single morning since I got this job. But today, I got there. I opened the door, I looked at them in the eye, and I shook their hand. And I said to them, I am so glad you're here. Thank you for being here. I'm so happy. And I had the music behind me blaring 90 miles an hour. And then when they'd get out of the car after we shook hands, I was dancing with them. And even the parents in the cars that were lining up, they were like, oh my God, wow, this lady has lost her mind, because it just brings this happiness and joy back into us as educators. And when we have it, the kids have it. And you start ignoring all the little things that are so bad in our society and in our culture right now, and you start focusing on the positive. Like they said, you know, I walked into one classroom, and there's one teacher teaching from her table, and then she's doing this to them, like, are we on the right page? Or, you know, are we going to focus? I'm seeing all of these hand signals going on. It's just unbelievable where we're going. We started doing our 55 essential rules before we went. So my kids are on rule 30. By Thursday, they'll be on 30. And so they know the handshake. They know to look at you in the eye. They know, and they love it. And I stopped writing the rules. I was making posters and hanging them on the wall, and I stopped making the posters at some point, because I thought, if I'm going, I'll just buy the posters over there. Why am I writing them? And they started coming to me, why'd you stop? Why are you not putting your posters up? So then I literally had to get on the announcements and make announcements and say, guys, I'm going to start again after, because I may just buy these posters. So it does make a difference to them. The kids that are so sad at home, that have all of these issues, they can come to a place where they're happy to be and happy to learn. And I'm going to stop, because I could go on forever, but I just want you to know that you're going to see a big difference in this district, thanks to the training that you have sent us on. It's amazing, and I just can't wait to see the next group go and come back. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And our house is better.
If you say so. You know, Ms. Chavita, Mr. Corey, might be a good idea to send these board members that have never experienced it with the next group. Ms. Modillo,
Absolutely more
maybe
than welcome, yeah.
our new school board member. I don't need to go, I've already been, but, okay. Yes.
Can I just say one more thing? Oh, go ahead.
Sorry.
No, you're okay.
It's because we're too excited. Do I need to go for the mic? So
things that I was thinking about when everyone else was talking that, and I was gonna mention them, and then I just stopped. The parent involvement there was astounding.
Yes.
You know, they do home visits, they include them in. So when you do have a situation, you're able to talk to them and it's not as charged as, yes, because they're on the team already. So, you know, and I know that that's one of the things that we've been looking at is parent involvement. This would bring in, and they're wanting to come. There were so many parents there, that gave, you know, that were taking us around, and it was just, y'all need to go.
Does anybody else want to speak?
Mrs. Begay?
Especially the one hiding in the back?
So thank you for allowing us to go. The program is really geared towards K through 8th grade. So, you know, it's building the foundation, and what when I was there, I was like, well, what happens to these kids when they're done with 8th grade? Well, we talked to the kids, and they talked about going to boarding schools. And one thing that Ron Clark said was consistency. So everybody needs to be on the same page, even staff. And so when Mr. Corey gave us the assignment, I first of all asked, I want resources, because I'm the type of person, and I think my staff that went, we want to practice, we want to implement, but we want to make sure that we have the resources available to be able to do these kinds of things. Fortunately, I did, order new speakers this year because I didn't have speaker systems. We do need mics. We do need follow-through in terms of consistency. What I really liked about all the kids there is they clean up, and that's something that I'm trying to do. And so Mr. Corey challenged us, do the 1%, but there's already structures in place at Snell that I've implemented this school year, but we have to continue and consistency. So when I'm gone, we need to continue to do that. It doesn't matter what staff member's there. If it's the AD, if it's the teachers, we need to build that structure. And kids do like structure, as we've seen. And in that school, the kids clean up after themselves. I did not see a messy part of that school, and it's a huge school because the kids are held to a high level. Not only that, the teachers are held to a high level. I mean, you saw all these men. Yes, they were walking on their podiums and their stages, but they were all wearing business suits. So professionalism was a big part of that culture. It was no longer, we all love wearing jeans, and, we're dressed down today because it's, right before Christmas, but I think it's held to, the professionals in the building are very professional, and they have high expectations of their students and their staff. And like Mr. Clark said, they didn't get there overnight. It took them about 17 years. Of course, they have multi-million sponsors, millionaires that are sponsors as part of their sponsorship, like Coca-Cola, Oprah. But even if we start local and we move up, these kids are, they're going to Ivy League colleges. They're not preparing them just for high school. They're preparing them for real world, those elite colleges. And he also talked about, we are ranked 41% worldwide. And it's a disservice that we're providing these students with not enough skills, even soft skills, to get in the real world. So we need to get better. And I loved the high expectations. I mean, if you're there, you can see. I hope it's equitable in terms of going. I wish more of my staff can go. I don't know funding, but I'm going to pitch that to the board. If there's more funding to send more people, yes, it's elementary geared, but if we could get more teachers, it says that you need at least 6 people per school site to make this change in your school. And he did talk a lot in terms as a new administrator. He talked to us about, those challenging employees and those people that are, we did it that way for the last 25 years. No, we need to move. Not only move, we need to run. And we need to run with our students in our mindset. And so I think, it was a great PD. You guys should go. It built up the team that went. You know, 17 of us went, we didn't know each other that well, but it built us up, it energized us, and it gave us a lot of resources to move forward. So I do thank you for the opportunity. I had fun. It was a quick trip, but I think we're gonna make some changes. I know I am at Snell.
Thank you.
Thank you. I just want to see the first school that implements the house system. I want to see how that's going to work. So the challenge is out there. Thank you guys so much. Thank you so much for sharing. Do you guys have any questions?
A ton, but I don't know I don't know enough about the program to ask questions, but one of the things that I always move towards are measures. What do they use to measure and how often do they do that? And as we're going on to build their budget, what is it we need to incorporate in that to help the schools implement this process?
When you go, Mr. Guadiana, I want you to ask Mr. Clark that exact question. See what he tells you.
Okay.
They play on a little different field because they're a private school. And so they do testing, but not to the level of what we do in testing. So it's a little bit different ballgame.
Okay.
So, we did ask that question in terms of funding, but like discipline, and then, I mean, there was this kid that I was meeting with, and then the kid Jake was there, and he said, tell me about racing in your school. You go, no ma'am, we would never do that. And so they have to go to an interview to get accepted, so it's kind of like a charter format almost. Like I asked another kid, well, is it a lottery? Like, do you guys get selected? And so there's some intense, you know, it's private, but they do get state funding, but at another level. And so that young man could not, so yes, the funding's there and they have the opportunity to do all this other stuff, but I also feel like the kids are held to a higher level. They don't have a lot of disciplinary problems like we do in terms of regular public schools.
But their teaching is, the pace is fast. We sat there for an hour, the class was not done, but I felt like I had been sitting there 10 minutes. It was that engaging. The kids do not raise their hands. They stand up. They face their feet to the person they're speaking to. If they're speaking to the whole class, they move around. And they just talk about whatever the situation is. And then another kid will stand up and say, no, but do you remember when this happened? And then another kid, well, yeah, but then, and so the teaching continues through them, and the teacher stands there next to them and just allows it to happen. If there's somewhere where they have to step in, they step in, but it's student-led, and they're learning from one another. But the thing is there's no number. No, but what is because it's so done, it's gonna be done, and there's no waiver. If you say you're gonna do this, you're gonna do it, or you get punished, but there's no discipline. There's a lot of policies. And the discipline is strict. Okay, you need to let your mouth go, and you continue with your lesson. You know what I mean? And
We
then,
can have some signs, so some of them didn't even say, write your name, they were, and they would go.
okay,
You would just see kids getting up and signing their name. And 99% of their students go to college.
99?
99%.
and they're successful.
Wow.
They just don't show up, they're successful.
One element that I haven't heard anything on is special ed.
Well, believe me, when I was there, I was looking. So I did not spot a kid that I would say that kid for sure is a special education student. I didn't see one. But
He said
in-
about 10% when I
Okay,
went,
in
about 10%.
conversation, they were talking about IEP meetings, so I know they were there.
But they will
Okay.
not do that.
It's just with your expectations. If you're expecting them to do something, then they can achieve it. But if you say, I want to do those, they're special ed. Yeah, they'll
All the
remain
special ed, nobody
teacher.
drops the bar for anyone.
So I
The
think,
bar remains high. They help, the teachers give up their lunchtime, they give up after school, they give to help them, you know, those kids that need the additional help.
they take behavior they're not gonna take, they're a private school, so they don't have to take everybody. They're not gonna take the nonverbals like we have out in Samuel. But they take behavior problems. They take kids that have ADHD, they can't hold still. They take the kids that aren't meeting standards, and they bring them up. Most of them, what,
It's impressive.
I can't remember the percentage, but they're all, single moms. The dads are in Latino, the dads are no poverty. A lot of poverty.
I would love to continue, but you can feel the level of excitement here, so I'm not gonna say anything else about Ron Clark Academy. I think they did an amazing job of, so teachers, administrators, thank you so much. Do not feel bashful to hop up and bail out of here. I know our meetings are super exciting, but, feel free to go because I know you guys are very busy, so you're not offending us in any way whatsoever. But thank you for taking time out of your day to come and share your experience because it's truly priceless. So, thanks a million.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, everyone.
Okay, that moves us to item 3B, approval of regular board meeting minutes of November 13th, 2023. I'll entertain a motion.
The minutes for the meeting of November 13th, 2023.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Okay, see no discussion, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, those are approved. That moves us to item C, approval of bills. This did go through the Finance Committee. I'll entertain a motion.
I move that we approve the bills as submitted.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Okay, I'll go ahead and call for the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Okay. That moves us to 4, new business. Item A, and I was not prepared for this, board evaluation. So I'm gonna ask if we could table it till the next meeting.
Yeah, it's not an action item, so.
Okay. If that's okay. I just wasn't prepared and I am new to the position, so I might seek you for some guidance or Ms. Modillo. All right. Okay, that moves us to item B, response to PED letter regarding budget preparation based on performance and accountability measures. Is this you, Mr. Ryan? It's about a letter that Mr. Corey had forwarded to us, but
That letter we talked about?
We talked
Okay.
about it.
Yeah,
this is,
okay.
Mr. Guadiana asked for this to be on the
Okay,
agenda, so he
yes.
has some questions.
Yes, we did, PED sent us a letter after I filed our first quarter report. What we've always done is reported at a district level, and I guess I didn't get the memo this year that they said they want it broken down by school level. So what I did, after I received the letter, I did change the parameters in our software to build the file to send to PED to report to them at the school level. So I did upload that new file and we're good. Everything's okay.
Mr. Guadiana.
Are we tying it to performance on the schools?
This is
And-
just reporting, that's all it is. This is just financial reporting.
So I think there's where they're headed with it, is with
Yeah.
our New Mexico Dash plans. They're
Yes.
wanting to be able to report at a school level so that we can account for, are we putting money in the budget to be able to assist in the areas that the school is needing? So I think
That's
it's setting us up for that, that's coming.
Yeah, it's more of an analysis tool. I'm sure, like what Mr. Corey was saying, they'll probably be analyzing those numbers, as we go on.
Who's
So-
they?
PED.
PED is
Or-
going to
They're revamping the New Mexico Vistas, and they're looking at that performances of schools, student enrollment, diversity. They're looking at a bunch of things.
the element that I'd like to see when we're gonna start doing that. Because we usually get, a little complacent at the beginning of the budgeting process, and when we get to the end, we just forego all the things that, we're supposed to assess and how well we're supposed to develop a plan to mitigate the circumstances that, are not performing well. And also to identify, for instance, if we have enough interventionists and this kind of things, and what the student-teacher ratio is, rather than just previous years, before you guys got on here, it was just a matter of did the formula meet the state requirements on student-teacher ratio? Not the consequences and not the imbalance, but they used averages rather than actual student, teacher ratios in the individual classes. So that's where I'd like to see if we could develop a calendar along those lines of what it is, the data that we're gonna look before we actually start filling in the numbers, for the schools.
Okay, and maybe working with principals to see what their needs are too?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. We should go school by school by school.
I'll give you my concern here with our ESSER dollars and our CSLD grant going away. We're about to take a 10% hit on our budget. So believe me, we're gonna be extremely thoughtful in the process this year of what we're doing and how we're doing it, for the fact that we're gonna have to be very careful with how we budget for this coming school year.
Any other comments, concerns? Okay. That moves us to item 5, unfinished business, and this is a field trip fund. I had just a question if that was even a possibility, or how are teachers fundraising for field trips?
We do provide the transportation for these trips, and also the meals. The cafeteria will send meals along, but they will fundraise for, let's say, admission to wherever it is they're going, or anything else like that. But the district does fund the transportation for these trips.
And are teachers limited to how many field trips they can take a year?
What we've normally done, we've just provide them with one. We do have some teachers that go over and above, and they do a lot of fundraising, and they do provide more trips. But for the most part, we do provide one per class.
Thank you, Mr. Ryan. Any other comments? Okay. That moves us to item 6, our financial committee report. So we did meet. Ms. Miller was not able to attend, and neither was Mr. Terrazas that day. We reviewed the bills. We talked about our hourly employees and how they get paid. Also on the paycheck, on the pay stubs, it was showing the end date not matching up with the payday. So that was just a simple fix on Mr. Ryan's part to fix the payday and the end date to be the same date. Did we discuss anything else? I think that was it.
Yeah, that was pretty much it. We did, we talked about that in great length, about payroll, and we did hammer a lot of issues out and clarify a lot of information. So it was a good meeting that we had.
Okay.
Last year, there was a problem that was brought up to my attention related to cafeteria workers, that hours were never shown on their checks.
Yeah, we addressed that, and it's showing. We addressed that issue in detail about our cafeteria staff and their hours.
Okay, and so there's a clock system. How do they?
They do timesheets. They fill out timesheets and they report time. But the way they get paid, they're paid on 24 equal installments. But if they do work overtime, we do pay them overtime on that pay period, on that paycheck.
Thank you.
I had also mentioned the use of time clocks. It could be a simple thing, going away from paper, or even having both for accountability. So that was a discussion. Because I think maintenance is using an app right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're looking at that.
And has that been successful?
Yes and no. When you use it, it works great. It's just the getting them to use it sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, punching a clock is a little arcane, but it's effective.
It is.
Right.
Okay, any other comments, concerns? Okay, that moves us to item 7, the audit committee report.
Frank?
We're looking at having an audit committee meeting on next week, on Wednesday. That would be what,
Yeah. So
I can't remember the
17th?
exact date of it. Yeah, but we're looking at having our next one on that date, but we haven't had one since the last meeting, so we'll be meeting soon.
And it is, we're behind the 8 ball on the meetings. During the audit process, we're supposed to be having monthly meetings without fail. So I want to make sure that we go forward and.
Right. Yeah,
We
this
don't miss any
November
more.
meeting, yeah, we didn't have a November meeting. We postponed it, and then I had asked them to give us a date when it will work for them, and I never heard back. So I thought, well, let's just wait till the December one, but yeah, we did miss a November meeting.
Yeah.
You know, we have been on track up until then, but, and then what I did too is, you know, what they're gonna do is they're gonna, now that their busy season will be ending here soon, we'll be able to get on track with them, so.
Yeah, and as a fail-safe, even if they can't make the meeting, we should have one. And go over what we do know about
Yeah.
the audit. Okay.
Okay, thank you. That moves us to item 8, board members report. Would you guys mind if I went first?
No, I don't mind.
I just wanted to acknowledge Ms. Dean. This is going to be her last meeting. She chose not to run for re-election, but I just wanted to thank her for her time and dedication to the district and serving. We really appreciate it. And I do have a card for you, so if we can meet, that'd be great.
Thank you so much. It's really been an honor to be on the board and to be with a great group of people who, like, were able to start a really great foundation for our community and the school. And it's been an honor working with all of you guys and all the teachers and the students. Thank you.
Thanks, Lisa. Go ahead.
Same thing, echo just what Ms. Begay said, you know, thanks Lisa for her service to the district, since we started back in July of last year. You know, when I first started, to see 3 educators with Lisa and Gabby and Serena on the board, I think that kind of got us going in the right direction, so appreciate her for her service. Congratulations to fall sports, coaches, parents, student athletes. You know, football, we went to the semifinals, volleyball went to the state tournament, cross country also went to the state meet. And then there are cheerleaders that went up to New York, that's awesome.
amazing.
That's pretty awesome. And then, Coach Sanchez, I like your weekly AD report. That's very informative, especially, you know, somebody that follows sports quite a bit, so appreciate that. And then look forward to the winter sports, you know, basketball, wrestling, powerlifting, and et cetera, so thank you. And thanks for the shirts.
I also want to thank Lisa. I can't imagine what could replace coming to school board meetings on your agenda, but I wish you well. Thank you for your service. And regarding the school, it's been more active in the high school, although I did go to the middle school last week as well. But what I see there is a great interaction between students and between the teachers and a presence of administration throughout. And I see us going in a very good direction and the excitement. I'm curious as to how we'll integrate the high school with the changes that are going on if this academy is only up to 8th grade. And this isn't actually a forum that I can ask questions and get responses to. So that may be something.
I have a great answer for that.
Okay, but, and the reason that is because there's nothing of our subjects on the agenda. So the public doesn't know what we're going to talk about. And if we're going to be specific about getting a back and forth on, it should be something that they know we're going to be discussing. So, but the middle school is also showing a great deal of, that's transformational. That's a whole lot different, even from the very beginning when we had the convocation when Ms. Begay addressed the students. They were very attentive, and it wasn't, there was a level of control that I hadn't seen before. And now when I even go to the games, everything, there's a presence of administrators there. Students are very respectful. It's not chaos. It is, and like when I go after school, when I go in doing the chess club, and that interaction in the chess club is very, very reflective of a chess team. There's not a lot of clowning around. People are focused on what they're doing. There's an eagerness to improve. There's an eagerness to share. And there's one student there, particularly, he's the best player. He's beaten 3 times already, out of 3. But he's there sharing his knowledge with people. He'll take it light. It's a very good collaboration. The handshaking goes on, and the eye-to-eye contact goes on. I'm really happy to be engaged with the students in a level that is demonstrative of wanting to learn, wanting to grow, and wanting to compete. So I thank you for the opportunity.
And I just had one more thing. I know Mr. Sanchez is going to present on the T-shirts, but I just wanted to give a shout out to Senator Correa Hemphill for purchasing the shirts for the whole district. Anyone have anything else? Ms. Dean, do you have anything?
At this time, no, I don't. Again, thank you, everybody. It's been an honor to serve with you guys and create a good path forward, and I wish you all the best. And I will still be involved as I can as a parent and a community member, and if you guys need any help or support, I'm here. Thank you.
Thanks. Okay, that moves us to 9B, Cobre High School update.
So, if you look in your packet, you've got a notebook. And so it took a while to get the state to come down, and then finally when we did, we kind of realized the main lady was very ill, and COVID and other complications. She was very apologetic, but when they left, they said it was their favorite visit they've ever had. So I always say those are wins, right? It was very interesting to me to be able to tour our high school from literally one end to the other. I saw things that were unbelievable. I have to be honest, usually I'm very upbeat and positive, and I was a little depressed when I got done after touring your facility, because I was like, wow. So we got to talk a little bit about what we did and maybe our plan. So I think the high school is really a slam dunk as far as funding, waiver, and all of those things. So I don't think there's a problem holding us up from there. But what was very interesting was when we were almost done, the conversation switched a little bit, and they asked where Snell Middle School was on the list. And so what I would like you to do real quick, I think it's section 2. If you flip to section 2, you're going to see a new letter. So if you flip 2 pages back, this is the previous letter submitted by Dr. Spalletta when the process started. And then what we've done in this is with Snell Middle School being on the list as well. So the high school is number 88 and Snell Middle School is number 93. Anything in the top 150 we can move on. So in the discussion, they said a lot of districts are moving to a facility where they'll actually place 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 on the same campus. And they can design the building where common spaces are in the middle, and one is housed on one side, one is housed on the other. The win out of this for us would be having all those students on the same campus, because we're doing lots of things that we're trying to already integrate that with our special education department and with our CTE education. So say, for example, our wood shop, welding shop, all of those, students could participate in those programs starting at 6th grade or wherever that is deemed necessary, and they would be able to work their way through that on that campus because those facilities would be there. same with our special education, same with everything. We would just have more teachers, so it just gives us way more options as far as what we could provide for our kids. So the reason for switching our letter is that we wanted to add Snell into the mix. And so they said that we can pull out at any time as far as if we just wanted to just do the high school. But we couldn't proceed forward without adding this into a letter. So that's why we quickly got them a letter. And then I wanted to kind of start the discussion with you to feel like, if you feel this is as good as idea as I do. And going through this, I felt like there were no cons. Everything was a pro as far as what could be done having that housed in one place. So original number just for high school, I think it came out $48.5 million was their estimate. So if we choose to put 6 through 12 in the same location, who knows what that number will be now. We didn't get a solid number. I mean, it could be up to like 90 million. But with our waiver and everything else in place, it's kind of a win-win scenario for us, I feel, that we could get a new facility built and have it built to where we can share a lot of those common areas. Another thing is a win is if they're there together, we would technically get 2 gymnasiums as well. So there's a high school one and a middle school one. There's some still wins out of placing them together. So, and then common facilities in the middle, maybe being library or being cafeteria and those kinds of things. So I actually wanted, that's why I gave you the whole packet. This is the packet that we put together. Very informative. I learned a lot by going through this. Even I've asked many times, like, when was this built? It gives everything. So that's why I wanted to share this information with you guys. Do you have any questions? I bet $1 million. I did.
Go ahead, Mr. Guadiana, we'll start with you.
Ms. Meeks shared this information with me last week, and I appreciate that. And my biggest question and concern was, you were looking at a possible enrollment of going down to 200 in the high school? And
So it's in here that
yes,
we're on declining enrollment, which we
Yes.
have been for some time.
but we had discussed this a few months ago, that Chino is going to go online again to 100% production. And I just met with the lady a little while ago. She was at the celebration for Mr. Fierro, Chon Fierro, who is the mayor. And so I spoke to her, and she's very willing to give us data on what the anticipated growth is there.
I asked that exact question because I knew that was a concern. And they, kind of the comeback really fast was, the mine's gone up and down in production over the years, but we've still been on declining enrollment. So we'd have to kind of prove the numbers, and which we gladly can, and provide that to them. They're very open, but it didn't sound like it was a slam dunk to say, hey, by the way, we think we're gonna go up.
Yeah, and Ms. Meeks conveyed that information, that it'd have to be pretty
Right.
solid numbers. And I think because of what's going on now with the electrification of everything now, copper is going to be a hot commodity, and we can make a strong argument. So if we can do that as well,
Absolutely.
I'd like to see that.
Yeah, I'm at what I'm worried is they're, they don't want to undersize this, but they don't want to oversize this. They don't want to say, as soon as we get the school built, that you're adding portables in the back because we didn't do it right. But at the same time, they didn't want to oversize you, which we're really oversized right now, because of the whole maintenance and cost and all of those things.
And so the other questions were more aligned. The initial estimate was $25 to $30 million, and now they're talking $45 million?
48 and a half.
$48.5 million, and is this just for the high school?
That's just high school.
I don't understand why a 50% increase would take place in just
And
4
so
months.
part of our discussion was, I asked, how long is this process? And they say from where we're sitting right now to walking in a new high school is 5 years. They're feeling like that it's kind of good timing because they feel like prices will start coming back down. And so they're hopefully encouraged in the thought of that number coming back in a little more reality, because I think that's extremely high. And I don't want to make this sound bad, but if we're on a waiver on the state,
And that was my last question.
yes,
What are we, I mean, we expecting to be waived, our entire obligation to be waived, or?
it sounded like our contribution would be extremely minimal, that we would have, I think on some engineering, if I remember
Right.
correctly.
We would have to participate in the design services, which we're looking at spending about 2.4 million in the design services.
It's not
But
bad.
they would cover the rest. And then as per your question about why the increase in cost, they go off of actual building costs right now, and they say right now they're through the roof, and especially in this corner of the state. That's what they're utilizing. They quoted us some numbers on price per square foot of new construction, and oh yeah, it was like over $1,000, per square foot on new construction in this part of the state. So that's what they're looking at. But like what Mr. Curry said is that this is on them. So,
So, when Mr. Ryan says $2.4 million, and we're happy as could be about that, right? So if we could pull this project off, and even if we even had to contribute more than that, I would be elated to do that, to be able to come through this project and have a new facility. And especially if we can come through this and actually have a new facility for our middle school and high school at the same time, I would say that's a win-win all the way around. And the educational piece, I think we could provide for students on a campus that would house all of our things, I think would even be that much better.
I like the idea too, but we should certainly go forward with getting public input.
Sure.
on that.
And that was why we did what we, on the letter, is we have to add that in. We had to add that piece in to move forward, but that does not mean we are tied to that. So we can proceed now, and when we go through those pieces, and if our public is like, this isn't a great idea, it's okay to back up on the middle school piece, but we couldn't proceed forward with it without the new letter. And so hence why we did that quickly to get that in.
yeah, like you said, this is all in the exploratory stages right now, just to throw it out there for discussion and see. And then what they're going to do, they're going to run all their numbers again, because they brought us numbers, everything was just on the high school. And during that meeting, when we had our discussions, it's just kind of sparked that, hey, you know what, let's combine them. So go back to the drawing board and throw some numbers. They're going to do that. Throw some numbers out there and see how that would look.
So I anticipate you will get a new book that will have both.
When will we have that answer?
New prices?
I mean, if we combine SNOW?
As far as what do you mean by when will we have the
You
answer?
said with the new book,
So
would
we
that have
talked
the
about,
cost projections in there?
we talked about that as they left, that they said first we need to get the letter to them, which we did quickly, and then they would start working on those numbers. They did not give us a time frame on that as far as returning what you have in front of you with the middle school piece. She didn't give us a time frame. It was very interesting because we did high school all day long, and literally in the last couple of minutes, this idea pops out on the table, and everybody was like, wow, we didn't think of that. So it was kind of a last minute thing, but very powerful as far as the potential of that.
And are any other school districts doing this in New Mexico, the combination of?
Yeah, she said that there's a number of districts going this route. That is kind of a new route.
One of the-
She listed quite a few.
Yeah, and we could go visit them. The part I liked is, she said that when you're in these schools, so they're already up, they're constructed, and you're walking through them, you don't even realize that you're in the high school piece of the school, and then you walk through a common space, and then now you're in the middle school piece of the school. So the way it's designed, the designers lay it out, and it's very separated as far as kids staying on their side, not mixing together. But she said that the schools, the designs are just impressive now of how they're pulling this off.
If we decide to go that route, I'd like to go visit a school too. You, Mr. Terrazas, do you have any comments?
Just a
questions?
comment, I mean, like, okay, we're saying that our student enrollment has gone down. Do we have a feel for how many students are being homeschooled, like from 2 years ago to last year to current?
I don't have those numbers. I know after COVID, we lost kids, like some kids just disappeared, and I don't have solid numbers on that as far as what that is. But let's talk about a piece of tonight. This is the part for me. If we get kids excited about coming back to school, like going to school, and the word gets out, like, holy cow, it's like a different place, I think you start pulling some of those kids back to us. But you have to create the environment for them to want to come back and go to school. So that's what makes me really excited about, you heard teachers, I mean, they're on fire right now. So I feel my greatest responsibility at the moment is keep that fire going and spread it as fast as we can.
Anything else? Okay, thank you. That moves us to item C, fundraisers.
So in your packet, there are fundraisers, and I think there's one donation at the very back for your guys' review. As always, I like to do shout outs here. The Elks Lodge did a large donation here to Central Elementary School for $2,000 for their AR reading program. Oh, I'm sorry, here my thing's in the way. Sorry, the Moose Lodge. So we always appreciate the community and their support. And that's a very large donation, so there's a lot of good things that can happen out of that. Is there any other questions on the fundraisers?
No. Okay, that moves us to item 10, public input items of concern. Anyone have public input? Anyone online, Caitlin? Okay. All right, seeing none, that moves us to item 11. Executive session notice is hereby given so that the Cobre Board of Education will meet in executive session for the following purposes. 1, discussion of collective bargaining strategies as permitted under section 10-15-1, H5 of the New Mexico Open Meetings Act. I'll entertain a motion.
I move that we go into executive session for the discussion of the bargaining.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Okay, I'm gonna do a roll call vote. Ms. Dean,
Yes?
Vice President Guadiana,
Yes.
Secretary Terrazas.
Yes.
And myself, yes. So we are in executive session at 6:08 PM. Okay, item number 12, reconvene in open session at the conclusion of the executive session for statement affirming that no action was taken in executive session and that discussions were limited to collective bargaining strategies. I'd entertain a motion.
I move that we come back into open session.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Okay, I'll call for the vote. Ms. Dean?
Yes.
Vice President Guadiana?
Yes.
Secretary Terrazas?
Yes.
And myself, yes. We are now back in open session at 6:41. That moves us to adjournment. Do I have a motion for adjournment?
I move to adjourn.
A second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
No? Okay, all right. We are adjourned at 6:41.